The Fed Chair, Jerome Powell, says high interest rates and high inflation only affect broke people. Let's dive into it. Hey guys, so on June 12th, a couple weeks ago, there was a Fed funds meeting held by our lovely chair, Mr. Jerome Powell. Guys, let me explain to you the main two reasons, the main two roles of the Fed. Number one, they conduct the national monetary policy, such as setting interest rates and managing the money supply. They also are supervising and regulating banks and financial markets, ensuring their safety and soundness. Guys, right now, high interest rates is putting a hurting on the middle class. It's putting a hurting on the middle class. The middle class is really suffering right now because of inflation, number one, and number two, interest rates. So guys, I don't know how many of you watched that Fed meeting, but I watched every single one. Guys, it's amazing. Once I started getting right with my money and started upping my financial literacy, I really started getting in tune with what's going on in the world. Because once you become an investor and you have money into the stock market and you own real estate and things like that, you start paying attention to American economics more, because everything that's going on around you affects the stock market, it affects real estate, so you really want to stay on top of these things. So a couple of things happened in that meeting. The Fed chair did not cut interest rates, which we are still hoping for a cut soon. And also he did not raise interest rates either. But he said something in the meeting, guys, that really stood out to me. He said high interest rates and inflation only affect the broke and the poor. Guys, he is 100% correct. Guys, did you know that 1% of the population, the wealthiest of the wealthy, did you guys know that 1% of these individuals, they have more net worth, more money than the other 99% of the population? That's insane. So you mean to tell me 1% of Americans have more wealth and money than the other 99% combined? Guys, that is absolutely fact. That's why the Fed is not cutting interest rates as soon as we would like for him to cut these interest rates, because it's not affecting the wealthy. It's not bothering the wealthy at all. They can afford every single thing. They don't need the interest rates cut. They have more money than the other 99% of the population. We are the ones that are hurting. The Fed isn't concerned about us. Guys, that's an issue. And the reason it's an issue is because us in the middle class, about 70% of us right now are living paycheck to paycheck. We're struggling every day for just basic essentials. We can't afford rent. We can't afford mortgages. Can't afford to go out and buy a decent car, even though I'm against car payments. But you can't even go out and buy a decent car at a decent price right now because the interest rates are so darn high. So guys, the Fed indirectly, I want to point something out to you. The Fed indirectly affects mortgages because the Fed funds rate is 5.5%. So when banks borrow money from each other, they're charging each other 5.5%. Then you go and buy a mortgage, then there's another 2 to 3% tacked on that on top of the Fed funds rate, because the bank that you're borrowing from, they have to make some money also. So here in Indiana, guys, the median home price here in Indiana, I'm in the state of Indiana, and I'm just talking about the state of Indiana. I know in other places, homes are more. I'm just talking about the state of Indiana right now. So the median home price in the state of Indiana where I live is $243,000. The median home price. The last house I owned before my current house, I had a 2.5% mortgage rate. So at $243,000, at a 2.5% interest rate, but this was back in 2015 when I got that interest rate, my payment on that house was under $1,400 a month. Total. Taxes, insurance, interest, and principal. Just under $1,400 a month. Now, that same house, or just taking this number, this $243,000 median price, at a 7% interest rate right now, today, in 2024, just principal and interest will be $1,600 alone. And then with your escrow, insurance, and real estate taxes, you're looking over $2,000 a month for a home that costs $243,000, guys. Over $2,000 a month. That's insane. The middle class is now priced out of home ownership right now. I was paying under $1,400 a month with escrow, principal, and interest on a 2.5% interest rate on a home I bought in 2015. That same home today will cost me over $2,000 a month at a 7% interest rate. And right now, the current home I have right now, my interest rate is 6.5% because me and my ex-wife, went through our divorce in 2022. We sold that home and just sold the home right when interest rates was rising. So my interest rate on my current home right now is 6.5%. But I bought enough home that I could afford by myself. I paid $240,000 for my home, but I put down a hefty down payment to where my 6.5% interest rate doesn't really affect me because I put such a large down payment from the sale of my last home. But again, I also am debt free and only have my mortgage. I don't have car payments. I don't have credit card debt. I don't have personal loans. I don't have student loans. This is the reason everybody is such in a financial crunch right now, because no one saw what was coming around the corner with inflation. No one saw this coming. But this is always why you got to be prepared, guys. No one saw this coming. We're just getting those stimulus checks back in 2021, 2020, just spending like crazy. No one saw inflation coming, but I knew it was coming. I knew something was going to happen because, again, getting my financial literacy up, I knew this money was not free. And one way or another, the government was going to get their money back. Guys, if you stay in consumer debt, you're going to struggle in 2025 and beyond. Debt is going to kill you. So again, I'm going to preach to everyone. Eliminate your consumer debt. Start eliminating your consumer debt. Because as long as you're in debt, it's robbing you of your future, it's robbing you of your retirement, and you are truly slave to the lender. I think it's crazy, absolutely nuts the way how high rents are these days, how high mortgages are these days. But a lot of these wounds we are experiencing is self-inflicted wounds because people have just taken on so much debt over the years without thinking, hey, one day a catastrophe could happen and I got no money, And that's exactly what inflation revealed. Americans have no money, no assets whatsoever. Most of them do not. I live in a 3-bedroom ranch, 2-car garage, 1.5 baths, 2 living rooms, fenced in on a 1/4 acre. I bought enough home for me and my dog. I didn't need a big house trying to impress anyone. But because I have no consumer debt, I can afford it easily. And I also have assets. I got a brokerage account. I have an emergency fund. I have a 401k. I got 3 vehicles, 2 cars and a motorcycle. They're all paid off. We have lived our lives trying to impress everybody, and it's gotten us in trouble with debt. So guys, like I said, the Fed is right. Inflation and high interest rates does only affect broke people. So guys, that's my rant on the Fed saying high interest rates and inflation only affect the broke people. The Fed is absolutely correct. And until you get out of debt, you will continue to be burdened with this inflation and the high interest rates. Guys, this inflation is not going away. Inflation may have peaked, but these prices we have, they're not going away. They're not going away. They're here to stay. So I implore you guys to get an emergency fund, start getting out of debt, and start building assets. Because if you're struggling now and you're doing the same thing, you're going to be struggling 5, 10 years from now. So guys, thank you for tuning into my video today. I really appreciate the support. Remember to like the video, guys. Please like the video if you're still here. Share the video. And most important, please continue subscribing to my YouTube channel, Frank Talks Money. I really appreciate the support, helping me build my YouTube channel. And with that, guys, always remember, financial decisions you make today will shape your financial life tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Frank Talks Money. I am out.